Well, hello. This is going to be, of course, a live stream as well as a YouTube video. So if you're watching on YouTube and you see me looking to the side and interacting with anyone who may pop in, that is essentially what's going on there. And we are doing some live arena today, so some very exciting stuff. I have a bunch of resets that I want to try and get through. Something I found useful that you guys might as well is if you come over here, you can actually purchase these live arena refills like whenever you need. So in my case, for example, I have been having some very busy days recently, so I came in earlier today because I knew I wasn't going to be able to use these, purchased a bunch of them. Now, after its daily reset, we have reduced pricing again, and I can still use for 24 hours the ones that I purchased earlier, which is quite nice. So we're going to go ahead and hop into it. I'm also looking to try out Embrys. I did go ahead and pull him during this CVC event, so a good old 60k points there right off the hop. We have him built out inside the Wand of Submission. I have no blessing on him yet. I have one book, which landed on the A1 of his base form, which is a bit of a shame. And barely any masteries, so just enough to get him the additional crit rate and whatnot. And then for the build, this is what we're looking at right now. So 80k HP, 277 on the speed, 100, and then 246 on the crit rate and crit damage, respectively, 355 on the accuracy. We're going to see just through playing, essentially, how he performs. And, you know, if there's issues or things that need changed or whatnot, we'll go ahead and change his build before I do the showcase on him as well. I always like to play test, of course, before I do champion showcases, so I actually know a little bit more what I'm talking about, which I think to some extent sets me apart in the space, certainly. So looking to climb, of course. We're at 648 right now in terms of points, looking to get to that, was it like 1320 that we need this season? First pick is currently almost always going to be Marius. It used to be Armand's, but Armand's is just not as strong in the current meta as he once was. We have so much Stone Skin and Polymorph and Wand of Submission and, you know, Torments as well as Marius and all those things coming in that I think Marius is just the best first pick for my account. So we do have a Arbiter as well as a Fabian coming in here. I think my next pick is going to be Embrys. The nice thing about Embrys, at least at this point in the game, is there's a very low chance that a lot of people have him. So we're going to go Embrys and then Armand's there. Armand's first, of course, because Armand's has Polymorph, so I want to make sure that any sort of debuffs that might swing our way have a very good chance of polymorphing. Now, Armand's, or rather Embrys, is built as a nuker, so essentially this team, right now, as it stands, has 2 damage dealers as well as 1 support, so I can just bring in 2 additional supports, which would be quite nice. I think we'll go ahead and take White Queen Ancora just so that he's not able to get Narcissus and Ancora paired up together. And then another good pairing is probably going to be either Freya or Marichka here. I think I'm going to go with Marichka. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to ban, most likely, their Narcissus. Yeah, I'm going to ban their Narcissus, I think, because, you know, these two are going to counter any sort of Stone Skin. This might be a bot account, actually. No offense if it's not, but the picks are just a little bit strange in Gold 4 or whatever this is. So I have some zero sugar or some diet iced tea, which is pretty cool. So, all right. We're faster as well, which is always good. I'll be looking after because I am very curious if this is a bot account. They have high enough resistance there, which is cool. Now, Embrys, first of all, he's going to take any Stone Skin. Of course, the Stone Skin cannot be resisted. They're ripping it off, so, you know, we're just going to go ahead and do that, essentially. This battle would have been over a lot earlier if we had our, of course, if we had our Marius. He does, unfortunately, get the lockout, but I think, honestly, that's okay because, you know, our Embrys can just go ahead and switch forms. And then, with that in mind, we can go ahead and do an AoE, just absolutely slam, boom, 60k kind of across the board there, nothing too crazy. We'll go ahead and go in here. I was hoping for the ally attack from the Embrys because now that the Necrosis is out there, Embrys is going to be able to double hit and block revive on his A1 in this form, which is obviously a pretty powerful ability. So we do have Georgid, who's going to be able to come in with an AoE slam, which is going to be a bit of a bit of a craziness. He might also do an A1 just to take somebody out first. He does on the Marichka, which is smart. Certainly smart. And now he's going to do the AoE, I bet. Yep, there it is. We don't have the revive available yet on the Ancora, which is a bit of an annoyance. We have some turn meter steel coming in there as well. I really want to get my Embrys built out inside counterattack masteries as well, like deterrence and retribution, because he's going to be an absolute monster if he is built out inside that, obviously. This is not looking good, though. This, like, borderline bot account may actually get us, I'm not going to lie. That being said, we can swap HP and get an extra turn, so we'll go ahead and do that. And then we have the A1 available. Places a block revive if this attack kills an enemy. So we'll go ahead, we'll block revive on their DPS there. And I think that basically wins it for us. Because obviously they can heal and they can continue to lock us out with the Fabian, which would be kind of annoying to deal with. But, I mean, realistically, it's just not going to be enough, I don't think. We can go ahead and change forms here as well. Get the extra turn. We have the ability to go in with the... This doesn't give me an extra turn, does it? No. He has so much going on in his kit, which is just wild. So we'll go ahead and do that. Extra turn coming in from him there. We'll go ahead and hit the A1. There it is. And then we'll go ahead and get some shield. But we miss our turn with the Ancora, unfortunately. And we do get locked and then attacked. I mean, that's whatever. I think the fight's over anyways. Boom. There it is. Embrys is able to take him out. My Embrys isn't doing as much damage as I hoped for, but I mean, realistically, that's not a bot, by the way, because I did win the last two fights. So, I'm sorry that I called this guy a bot. The picks were just very, very odd. My Embrys is not doing as much damage as I hoped for. I mean, that's, you know, nothing against Embrys, though. It's kind of to be expected because he doesn't have any sort of a soul. We don't have full masteries, so we can't get, like, you know, Helm Smasher procs or anything like that, which go a long ways towards... you know, helping out with damage numbers. So we will still keep picking him, though, because he's such just an intimidating champion to use, essentially. And the opponent leaves the battle. All right, works for me, helping us get through these daily resets a little bit quicker. You're not going to hear me complaining. Not sure what happened there, if it was a connection error or whatnot. You'll see that earlier there in the battle logs, I did actually lose a battle earlier. And that was essentially because I was at the gym, and then for some reason the game just decided not to have a good connection, so it like kept closing out on me essentially. Here we're gonna pick a Fabian, of course, and then we're gonna pick Embrys with that. Derek S1985, we'll see what he has in store for us. We do have some mythicals coming in, including a Siegfried, so I think our best bet here is probably going to be to take a UDK. And then we do need a strong support champion. So I am thinking a mythical, which will kind of stop him from potentially picking a bomb champion at the end. We could go with a Noelle. We could go with any number of champions here. But I think Marichka is going to be a solid way to go because she does bring that speed aura as well, in case our Fabian gets banned, of course. With our Monses... Yeah, this is interesting. Okay. I think our Mons is probably the ban target here still. I think... Okay, Embrys is the one he takes out. That's interesting. Okay. We do still have Marius. The downside is my Marius is a PvP-centric build, so he's inside Merciless instead of Stone Skin. And he's not even in a 9-piece Merciless. It's like 6-piece combined with like just some other random BS. Because I still have no Merciless banner for my Marius, for Skinwalkers. Not a single Merciless banner, which is just insane to think about. But we get the AoE attack there on the Galathier transformation, but we don't get a single proc of Enfeeble, which is just nuts. Let's go ahead and probably petrify the Garrel there, as well as the True Fear on everybody else, which will be quite nice. That way, if Siegfried does get a turn, he's still going to be obviously attacked by the Fabian. We're going to go ahead and cleanse, which will also be a bit of a turn meter boost here, and then we're going to get our shields and whatnot. We'll go ahead and slam in with the A2 of Marius. Boom, boom, boom. Take out the Garrel. Proc the passive on Siegfried, which is good because he doesn't have his A3 available. He's locked out. So we'll go ahead and try some turn meter steal here on the Arbiter, which we can't do because she's under petrification. I forgot about that, so not sure what I was doing there, but let's go ahead and get an AoE in here with our UDK. Try to just get some damage in as well. Try to get some turn meter off that Siegfried. There it is, perfect, sinking him down a whole bunch. Fabian's passive is so incredibly strong where he removes hard CC from himself at the start of every turn, so you can't like stun him or anything like that. Counterattack coming in there from the AoE on Galathier, that is perfect. Now we have won like 4 in a row here, 3 in a row on the stream so far technically, so we might get a hard one coming up, but I'm actually really enjoying these live arena seasons because it gives like a really good motivation to go out and like, you know, farm at certain times, and then with the, I think it's like 2 weeks in between, it gives you like a very nice respite from it as well, so you're not just constantly grinding, because that's kind of one of the things that gets annoying about like Hydra and whatnot, is it's so constant. Like you're doing it every week, and most of the teams, if you want high damage, are going to be manual teams, and it's so annoying, right? That being said, if you're watching on Twitch after this video has ended, or after this stream has ended, definitely make sure to check out the YouTube as well. It's just Gearbear on YouTube, or if you search Gearbear Raid Shadow Legends, you'll come across it, no problem. I do a bunch of streams and whatnot there. We're going to take a UDK here as well. Alternatively, we could pick a Harima against the Nice. This is an insane team. Like I told you, it's going to be a bit of a harder match. This guy's at 42.91. I'm at 73.54, but his team is just insane. Insanity, people. We have our 2 damage dealers, so that's fine. I think we'll take a Marichka here. Marichka just kind of coming in to bring us like some reviving, some cleansing, some shields, all that sort of good stuff. We will get the speed aura from her as well. Really looking for a high awakening on my Marichka. If I could get some sort of like a 5 or a 6 star to either get her in an intimidating presence, or if she's 6 star to get her in polymorph, that would just be absolutely perfect. We do have obviously 2 DPS heroes here in the form of Embrys as well as Marius. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this, right? And then we are going to turn meter increase as well as remove debuff, so it should be enough to get our Marius into the game here. And we proc the... We don't proc the Nice. Interesting. We're going to go ahead and see if we can't fear him, though. We don't. There it is. He transforms. We get the A1. No enfeeble, though, which is a bit crazy. We get an extra turn here. And... Oh, okay. The Necrosis did an extra pop on him, I guess, because it was like an extra turn taken or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I think that was the interaction. So we did go ahead and beat this player in the Dream Hunters clan. Very decent player there. 17 million player power, of course. Don't have my legendary book yet from today, or from this month rather, for the live arena chest, so it'd be pretty cool to get that as well. I would also be very curious to hear about everybody's speed farming teams, especially for example, Fire Knight as well as Dragon, because I did pull Theodore recently, and I did just finish booking him out, and I was running him through Dragon for the Dragon tournament with Marius to get him leveled up a little bit. So we have a Marichka coming in early. Marichka coming in early is probably one of the most important things to see, because it means one of 2 things. So one of 2, first one being we're going to see a Taurus next, or second one being we're going to see some bomb champions next. Those are really the only 2 situations where you see an early Marichka pick, because essentially if they have a Taurus, they want to run Taurus and Marichka because it's a very insane composition, and then if they want to run bomb champions against you, they want to remove the Marichka from your options to counter it. Now, this is just a strange pick, so maybe he just wanted it for, like, you know, survivability or something like that. I think what we'll do here is we'll try to go for some strong support as well. So maybe an Ancora would be nice to basically help shut down, you know, some of the other stuff they're doing here, revive with skill cooldowns and whatnot. And then I think we'll do a UDK as well, which essentially shuts down everything but the A3 of the Sun Wukong. But the A3 doesn't hit that hard, all things considered. You're really just worried about the A2 and in the A1 because he has the stun on it, right? So that should be perfectly fine, though. If they don't ban the Marius, Marius is going to be a very strong counter to Frolny as well if Frolny ever tries to switch forms. But Frolny is an interesting champion, certainly. Depending on the last pick, I'm thinking we might ban the Frolny, though, because he's probably the one that I'm most worried about. Ooh, Carnage. Yeah, Carnage has got to go. Carnage is not staying. Not a chance in hell. And then the bonus to picking Ancora as well is we do still get the speed aura, which is nice. So we don't have any sort of you know, supersonic on this team currently, though. So I don't have supersonic for, like, you know, Ancora or anything like that. I did have it on Fabian, but they banned the Fabian, unfortunately. So let's see how this goes. They are going to be quite heavy on the buffs, and then we do just have to worry about Frolny and Sun Wukong. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to probably just buff up here. Not really worried about doing anything else. We do have Embrys who can come in with his A3. Do we want to open with the A2? Probably not. Let's go ahead and open with the A3 instead. Get those block buffs. Take off all the stone skin. Very, very strong. We didn't get the stone skin taken off on the Frolny, though, so I guess it... Alright. Well... Not much we can do here. Not much we can do here. Just an insane damage composition as well as... yeah, that's crazy. There's some good gear on those champions, that's for sure. They were fast. Lots of damage, lots of accuracy. The Frolny, of course, procced the protection there, the orb. I forget what the name of it is, but basically the blessing that just protects one of your buffs. Lightning Cage, there we go, that's the name of it. I couldn't remember that for some reason. But yeah, he procced that. And here we go, we have Mewing Loki. This is who we're facing, 3,900 rated player. Again, early Marichka pick, we're most likely going to see a bomb champion coming in here. I think we'll still just go forward with our Marius Fabian picks. Intimidating presence on the Marichka as well, which is a bit scary, certainly. If they try to go with like a speed bomb team, we could easily go with some... Oh, they're going with a Frolny, okay. I was going to say we could easily go with like a... Hegemon in here. We might still do that, honestly, just to make sure that, you know, there's no funny business that happens here. And yeah, I think we'll do Hegemon Embrys. Though if we do that, we don't have much for support, but you know what? I think we'll live life on the edge and do it. Because that way, if they're Frolny and if their Art Bias is not inside Stone Skin, they're really going to have to ban that Hegemon. Otherwise, you know, he might cook him. Because I have him in stun set. And then, obviously, he has a chance to place block actives on his A2 as well. So, he's a very, very strong champion to pick, that's for sure. I am still tempted to really just start trying Loki more, because he is very strong as well, in my opinion. He starts under the Perfect Veil, of course, and then he has the AoE block active skills, which is very strong, as well as the buff removal and whatnot. So he can be a very good contender too. Plus, we all got like a 5-star awakening for him. So this is interesting. We have Crixia, Frolny, Mesomel. Oh, this is tough. We have our damage dealers. Oh my god, this is interesting. I think one of our best bets here might be to go with Arbiter, just to try and win that speed race, and then ban their Arbias, because they kind of have to ban the Hegemon, I think, right? The Mesomel is going to be inside Stone Skin, almost guaranteed, so we are kind of depending on Embrys getting a turn first, and then that going into the Marius, of course, because Embrys is a little bit faster than my Marius, like quite a bit faster, so he does ban the Arbiter, which means that we have a lot better matchup here. So the Fabian speed aura of 19% versus the 24 from the Marichka, but Marichka does have a 3 or 4-star awakened intimidating presence, it looked like. So that's interesting. This is going to be a tanky team. It is our turn, though, of course. We have Stone Skin across the board, which is fantastic. So, and we have Crixia coming in next, which is even better. So we might be cooked here because there's not going to be much that we can do. The Mezamel is going to get a turn, and she's probably going to snipe our Marius, I think would be the play. She does have that extra turn coming in there. She snipes out the Embrys actually instead, which it actually is probably a better play because she can ignore Stone Skin. Frolny can't, I don't think. So we do get cooked there, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and claim that. Go into the next fight here as well. We started off strong, so the raid arena gods just have to nerf us down a bit with some ridiculous matchups. But it is what it is. I only have 4 mythical champions so far, which definitely does hurt. So we'll get our Mons, Embrys coming in here. We have our 2 DPS picked out now. I think Embrys built inside Supersonic could be very, very strong as well, getting essentially an increase on his turn meter whenever somebody else buffs up. I think we're going to go UDK because we really want to be able to counter the Siphi as well as the Carnage. And then I think we're going to go with probably Marichka on top of that just for some heals and other miscellaneous support. And then I think we end up banning the Fabian here because a 6-star awakened Fabian with intimidating presence is pretty crazy. Fabian is one of those champions that it's kind of like in our Mons, right? You almost have to ban the Fabian if there's no other like uber threats there because Fabian is just so annoying with his AoE fears and, proccing his A2, whenever somebody gets a fear and his lockout, and, it's just a crazy kit. I would expect to see an Armand's ban here, but that's not the case. That's crazy. That is crazy, because this is a Supersonic Armands going against a Siphi team. I definitely would have thought that we would have seen a ban of the Armands there, but that is wild. We'll see. They're going to have to be very tightly speed-tuned if they plan on getting through this, essentially. That being said, the Mikage could ally attack into the Armands, which she does, but it's not quite enough to kill him. The sleep kind of comes in clutch, though. It's a bit annoying that, she was able to sleep him, and then the other one's hitting didn't wake him up because technically she hits first and then everybody else hits, but it is what it is, I suppose. Counterattack coming in from the Marius, but he slams himself down because of their Volcaic or Voldratic Heart or something like that, something crazy like that. We have a block active skills on our Marichka, which is a shame. We may get a block passive skills on our Marichka soon, which would be even more of a shame. But we shall see. If the block passive goes on Marichka, we are cooked. Obviously, it's over. This is a pretty insane team to be facing here as well. I definitely think my picks are lacking a little bit because I'm trying so hard tonight to get Embrys into the fight. So I'm definitely not, picking as good as I could or should be at some points, I'm sure. But we'll go ahead and hit an AoE here with UDK. I do want to try and get UDK switched to like a nuker build at some point, like where you can put out some DPS, but the problem with that is you oftentimes have to sacrifice so many other stats, especially on my account where I don't have crazy stone skins, so it kind of is what it is, I suppose. And we have Carnage, who is going to go ahead and metamorph, but we do get a revive there, which is nice. And then we have our Mons, who's now able to come in and do some AoE turn meter steal. So that might have been a mistake. We do get polymorph though, which, I mean, it's whatever, and it's still going to be our turn. We're not locked out, so we are going to go ahead and we're going to do an AoE triple smack here with our Marius. We take out everybody except Siphi. Siphi is going to be able to bring somebody back with a very high turn meter though, so they honestly might still get a secondary chance here, which it's going to be Carnage. So we're kind of hoping for that. Oh, would have been nice to get the proc of the provoke on the A1 there from the UDK, but unfortunately that doesn't happen. This is just ridiculous. the RNG Did not go in my favor there. We missed the polymorph coming in. We should be facing a bot now, I think, by the way, because we faced a bunch of players and lost there. So the bot's going to come along and make sure that we don't lose too many rating points. Jerzingos. We'll go ahead and throw in maybe an Armand's pick first, just because I do want Marius in the fight. And of course the bots ban whoever's in slot 1 every time, so we don't want to pick something good for our slot 1. And now Armand's is a good champion, but I'd rather have some other ones in the fight, so we'll see how this goes here. It's always, you know, these parts of the game where things get interesting as well, because we won a bunch, now we're losing a bunch. You know, are we going to win a bunch again? We have a 6-star Awakened Soul Reap UDK. Now, if this isn't a bot, I don't know what is. We're going to go with Marius Embrys. Curious what the bot will pick in response to that. I don't even know if they programmed it to, like, you know, respond to what you pick. So if he's now going to pick, like, something to try and counter our Marius, like maybe a Harima or something like that. But from what I've been told, essentially these bot accounts are just kind of like clones of other accounts at similar player power levels to you. I don't know how accurate that is, but, you know, people say a lot of crazy things on the internet, I guess, so it could have been just one of those things. We'll bring kind of a strong support duo in the Marichka and the Ancora there. Very, very strong together, obviously, with, you know, so much control and whatnot. Fabian's got to go. They're going to ban the Armands. This is a crazy team. Craziness, craziness. And we'll get the speed aura from our Marichka there. So Marichka's going to ensure that, you know, we can revive on death if everybody gets wiped somehow by this, you know, crazy Deliana A1 maybe, or a UDK damage dealer maybe. I don't know. I don't know how we'd get wiped, but it's going to ensure that we can come back essentially. So we do have the Ancora here who can turn meter boost for us. We're going to take everybody's stone skin. We're going to boost up like this. And then we're also going to go ahead and smack in with the Marius. Almost took out everybody there. You know, a little bit more damage. If he had the increased defense, we probably would have gotten it. We don't even get a revive from the Elva, which is interesting. We're going to get an AoE here, probably from the Deliana, I would expect. Yeah. We'll get the A1 here into the UDK. We get a decreased cooldown. We are going to go ahead and do this into an extra turn, because why not? Metamorph into... I think we're going to go ahead and metamorph into this. We'll go ahead and swap HP with the UDK. And then we're going to hit that AoE. Boom. Embrys is definitely not hitting as hard as I hoped he would. I've noticed that my camera is like laggy now as well. I'm not sure what's going on with that. It wasn't doing it earlier. I'm not getting like drop frames notices or anything like that. So hopefully it resolves itself here sooner rather than later. And there we go. It's looking a little bit more normal now. We have a chest coming in. No legendary book from that, unfortunately. And yeah, the camera's back to normal now, which is sweet. We're going to go ahead and keep grinding here. We're 6 out of 35 on the victory chests as well. So, gotta see if we can't get those sooner rather than later. Veritim from OBV Trees is who we're facing. I could be wrong, but I think we faced this clan at some point in Siege. Although, like I say, I could be wrong. I could be just making things up. Who knows? Putting on some lip balm. Lips have been very dry recently. Now, in case anyone's curious about the diet iced tea, it was in fact delicious. It was actually very good. It was President's Choice, if anybody's familiar with that. It's kind of a Canadian brand. So we have Fabian and our Armands being picked. Now, I think if they're picking those two, they're probably going ahead and banking on winning a speed race, right? Or they haven't built in supersonic. So we'll go ahead and pick Embrys and Marichka. Marichka, of course, helps to make sure that we don't have to deal with any sort of bomb champions, make sure that they can't get Marichka. I think we're going to go ahead and pick Hegemon And then we're also going to go ahead and pick Ancora because I want to ban the Armands here, and the Ancora is going to make sure that the stuns from Odin as well as the fears from Fabian get eaten off of whoever our highest crit damage is, which I think is going to be Marius. And then obviously, you know, we can kind of go from there. Their DPS are going to be Odin as well as... oh, I don't even know this guy's name. Vildic, something like that. I think it starts with a V. But he's a Sacred Order champ, if I'm not mistaken. So they do ban Marichka, which is interesting. So they might have Stone Skin across the board then. And they're just okay eating the Hegemon hit. We'll see. I'm thinking I do want to rebuild my Hegemon as a DPS at some point as well. Yeah, they do have Stone Skin. We're still going to go with the A2 just to see if we can get a block actives on the Arbiter, which we do. That's awesome. And then it looks like Fabian might be... Oh, that's crushing. Fabian and, of course, Ancora were so close there. We do get the transformation here from the Embrys, which will be big. We'll go ahead and, you know, swap HP with somebody. I think we'll swap it with the Arbiter. And then let's go ahead and hit the AoE here. Boom. Not crazy damage coming in, unfortunately, but that'll take care of the Fabian. We do get a block damage coming in here. Loki can do the strip, though, which is fine. Marius doesn't really care about that because he has the highest crit damage, it looks like. So, block active still coming in from the Arbiter, too. Now, I am worried about his DPS unit. He could do some crazy damage here. He does, in fact, do some crazy damage. That was ridiculous damage. And then we'll have Odin coming in with his DPS here right away, too. Boom. And then, yeah, I think we're cooked. Yep, there it is. That was some crazy, crazy damage. Oh, well, what do you do? On to the next fight. Worst case scenario, we'll lose 3, get a bot, keep our points where they're at, right? 681. We have just over, I think, 2 weeks or something like that left inside the season, or a week maybe. I forget if they're 2-week seasons or 4-week seasons. I think it's 4-week season, right? This guy's got 666 seasonal points. That is crazy. That is crazy. We got an Arbiter coming in. Definitely going to take Fabian Marius. I'm interested to see if we have some sort of like a bomb champion coming in, because with a speed team, that's what I'd expect to see. With how much like Stone Skin is out there in the meta today, you kind of need something like that to counter it. Yeah, so we have Yumiko, which means I'm going to bring Embrys Crixia, because Crixia is very competent when it comes to countering a Yumiko, because Yumiko's lockout doesn't matter if I can just switch forms and reset with the Crixia. And then I think Marichka is probably going to be our final pick here as well, just to add some support and tankiness to the team. I really wish I had like a Sifi, because what I'd do then is I'd run like Sifi Harima basically like non-stop. Because like I do have Freya who can also set up a Harima, but it's just not as good because Harima's control and whatnot adds so much to a team composition like that. I think, yeah, we'll go ahead and take Marichka, and then we'll ban their Arbiter. Again, like I say, I'm not too worried because my Crixia can come in and just, you know, do some crazy things. I also have the Embrace, obviously, who can switch and, you know, all those sorts of good things. And there you go. You see, we banned the Marichka. They kind of knew what was up. That being said, though, I think we may be faster just because of, you know, speed and whatnot. We'll see, we'll see. They don't have an intimidating presence, but they do have a speed aura of 25%, but yeah, that's fine. We are quite a bit faster actually, and then the Crixia comes in first. Boom, get the cooldown. We're gonna go boom, get some cooldowns on anybody else who wasn't locked out, and then we get the extra turn because there's no active buffs. Even if she gets a turn, she's still gonna proc the Fabian, so she can't really do much. And then everybody else is just locked into like the A1 here. Yeah, so she does metamorph. Interesting activation there, certainly. We're going to go ahead and do... Oh, okay. Well, he backed out. That works. So, yeah, we win one. We lose one. We're going to continue. I'm curious to see... Yeah, 13 million player power count. 15 million. It's been giving us some crazy accounts, though, certainly, it looks like. But... let's go ahead and find another opponent here. We have a bunch more refreshes or a bunch more tokens to get through, so need to try and do that. Vab 2, and he does have the Carnage. Portrait. So that means he has Carnage and possibly has Carnage awakened as well, which would be quite annoying. I don't have Carnage yet. I am getting him this rotation of Cintranos. And then I need to make sure to try and like farm the chests frequently enough that I get his awakenings pretty soon as well. It's absolutely crazy, by the way, that they're just giving us a 6-star awakening for Carnage. And it's also very possible that the Carnage 6-star awakening is going to be... It is going to be the first 6-star mythical I have, almost guaranteed. But it's also possible that it's the first 6-star like legendary or higher that I have as well, which is interesting. So he does take Marius. We're going to continue with the Embrys, you know, Fabian first picks here. I'm expecting to see maybe like I would say maybe a Marichka Armand's coming in. We might see Carnage coming in here too. I think this fight I am going to pick Harima because Harima does help to counter both Marius as well as Carnage, so she'd be very strong against both of those options, which then also means that we're probably good taking a Freya too, but we'll see what he picks, obviously. Hopefully he's not stream sniping. That would be pretty crazy. We're at 690 points. At 700 we'll be well over halfway, obviously, so... This is a 5-star awakened Marius 2 with a Soul Reap, which is quite crazy. If I were to hope for an awakening for, you know, any of my champions, I'd want one of two things. I would love a 6-star Crixia to give her the extra speed, accuracy, all that sort of stuff. Resistance, obviously, right? I would love an awakening of any sort for Embrys so I can get him in Lightning Cage to make sure that he can try to protect his buffs. I would love a 6-star for Harima and Taurus. I'd love a 6-star for Fabian. You know, lots of good options essentially. So we're going to go ahead and we'll take Marichka and Harima. So we do have Marius, and then we also have a Carnage coming out as well, both of which, like I say, are very well countered by Harima, because Harima's passive, if you're not familiar, it's one line of text, but that one line of text can make all the difference, because that one line of text says enemy ignore defense effects decreased by 50%. So any ignore defense they might be doing is going to be reduced by 50%, which combined with obviously somebody like a Harima, or sorry, rather a Marichka, who can bring in like a shield and all that, it's going to be just, you know, craziness if she gets to stay in the fight. I'm expecting probably some supports to go with this, would be my guess. The Cardinal pick is very interesting as well. I am actually thinking about building out a Cardinal myself because she is pretty crazy to help counter. Like, if you're not going against a block revive team, then, I mean, you know, she's very strong. So the Embrys is nice because he does bring some block revive as well. We do have a Frolny, which is very annoying. I think we're probably best off going with like maybe an Eostrid, just because my Eostrid's fast, and I think we'll ban... I think we'll ban the Cardinal, honestly. I just don't want any revives. He kind of has to ban the Eostrid, I think. Because that Intimidating Presence and Speed Aura with this team is probably going to cook him if he doesn't ban Eostrid. Maybe I should have banned, you know, Frolny or Carnage, but I think banning their support, like their really only support, is going to be a good way to go. Might see a ban on Fabian too, because he just went AFK apparently, so that's interesting. And it would be hilarious if he is genuinely AFK and we see a pick of Marius as the aura instead of Carnage. That would be crazy. Carnage is such a ridiculously good champion too. I'm very excited to build him when I get him. I'm suffering so much right now for good stone skin on my account though, so I'm hoping these next few Hydra rotations come through clutch. But and we do have Marius as the leader. That's interesting. What a strange pick choice thing, you know? Craziness. You know, excuse me. If they have Marius, or sorry, if they have stone skin, Embrys can take care of that now, which is nice. I don't think anybody's going to have a high enough resistance to really have to worry about that. My Embrys is at like 355 on the accuracy, so I'd need at least 500 resistance to stop him from doing his things. That being said, though, the removal of the stone skin cannot be resisted, so it's essentially just the rest of his kit that can be resisted, essentially. So I think, yeah, whatever. We'll go ahead and do his A2. right? Get that AoE, fear, all that sort of good stuff. We have no... I don't really know, though, if I want him to transform, because there is the Marius, but we have the True Fear chance to proc, which doesn't, unfortunately, and now we get an Enfeeble on him. That being said, though, we'll go ahead and do a swap HP with the Frolny, and then we'll go ahead and hit the AoE here. Boom! We do take out the Marius. He has no revive as well, so that's good. We'll get some heals and shields and all that coming in from the Marichka here. And then we'll just go ahead and smack in. Harima has a 2-turn Enfeeble, which is just disgusting. But no block passives or anything like that on her yet, which is nice because it's going to mean that, you know, my GPU is at 96% usage right now. Why? What is using so much of my GPU? Please do show me what is using so much. Because it's lagging my camera as well, which is interesting. As of right now, I can't see GPU inside the... I can't see GPU inside the task manager, which is odd. I'll have to look into that. Let's go ahead and try to sleep the Frolny here. Don't get it, unfortunately. We can cleanse with the Harima, get a boost turn meter as well. We do have Necrosis out there, so I think we'll go ahead and hit into the Frolny here since his turn meter is the highest. Get a block revive on him as well. It's going to be annoying going against the Carnage, obviously, but we get the revive there as well from the Embrys, which is quite strong. Let me try to figure out this GPU thing again here as well. Apparently, Plarium Play is using 17% of my CPU, which is just crazy numbers in my opinion. We don't get the sleep there from the Carnage. Marichka sits down, unfortunately. We'll try to get a hit in here on the Carnage, which we don't quite get. We'll just go ahead and hit in with the A1 of the Embrys, though. Lady Mikage is the last one left. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot that she can do. We do get a sleep on her, but she removes it, of course. Next turn, though, she's going to be sat down. So there we go. We do get the victory against that team, which was a very, very strong team, actually. I'm surprised we won against that. A 19 million player power count with a Carnage as well. And my CPU usage has gone down, GPU usage has gone down, so I'm not sure what was taking it. I'm also not sure why GPU usage is not showing up inside the task manager. I upgraded to Windows 11 recently, and I must say it is probably the worst experience I have had in quite some time. In all honesty, I highly recommend not upgrading to Windows 11 if you're able to avoid it. It is absolutely atrocious. It is, oh, there we go. I can get the GPU now. So, OBS is what's using a lot of my GPU, which makes sense, but I wonder if when it spikes up like that, if it's OBS causing it or if it's something else. I'm going to go ahead and shrink it down a little bit. NVIDIA Broadcast is actually using a lot of my GPU too. I use NVIDIA Broadcast for microphone effects. So essentially just making sure that, like, you know, there's no background audio or anything like that. We have Crixia Carnage. I think we're going to go ahead and go... excuse me, a bit of a dry throat. This is tough. I think we're going to go Taurus Marichka. We may not get to bring Embrys this fight. Just because the amount of like AoEs they have, I kind of need to do something to counter that, right? So, and I don't recall if I optimized like my Marius to have higher crit damage than my Taurus or not, because we could bring in an Ancora and then, you know, get some crazy counterattacks with that, but I have no idea. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. Something else I'm curious about using is something like a Auroric Wormbane, right? I think he was a Fragment Fusion back in the day, but I'm pretty sure he's immune to stuns, and then if you put him in like Retribution and whatnot, he can help out a lot. we're going to bring a UDK. He almost has to ban the UDK because he's going to try and do a stupid strategy with Aspect of Searoth and Rotos against my Marichka, which is just, you know, ridiculous that it exists. But whatever. And then, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we win this, to be honest. This is a tough one. He bans Marichka, interestingly enough. So we do have a polymorph here on our Fabian, which will be nice. It would be actually a good idea to maybe put my Wand of Submission on Fabian too, just considering that he's got, you know, more requirements for speed and whatnot, but their Crixia is very fast indeed. Let's go ahead and try to do some turn meter reductions here on the Rotos, which we get 2 weak hits. That's perfect. We're going to get an AoE freeze here coming in from the Noelle, which we don't actually. It's the Invigorating Chill that she uses, interestingly enough. Block passives coming in on the Marius is annoying. We are locked out right now too, obviously, which should go without saying. But what I'm hoping for here is a turn from Marius into an AoE Enfeeble would be very strong. Crixia may also metamorph, which she doesn't, but there we go. We get an AoE A1. There we go. We get another AoE. We have an Enfeeble coming in on the Rotos. The Noelle is going to be able to res, so I don't really want to worry too much about, like, you know, taking out the champions or whatnot, because, you know, she's just going to freeze us anyways. That being said, though, it's not really going to do much against the Fabian, because Fabian's just going to be able to remove the freeze from himself right away. So we do get the reset coming in there. Obviously, we have Fabian. Let's try to get some turn meter off that Carnage, which we do get, thankfully. We'll go ahead and hit into the Carnage and maybe hope for a provoke. That would have been nice. We don't get it. We do get some additional turn meter depletion, though. And we do still have 1 turn of Stone Skin on our UDK, so they can't do much there. Now let's go ahead, do some additional turn meter depletion here on the Carnage. We get a counter attack coming in though. Block passives on the Marius, bit annoying, or block actives rather, not even block passives. Marius doesn't, he does have a passive where he's immune to turn meter reduction and counter attacks with the A1, but nothing too crazy there. Now we do get a freeze on the Carnage, which is big. This may be just what we need to get back into it. Although we have an AoE freeze again with the Lady Noelle, because why would we not, right? Like, you know. That being said, though, Fabian might be off cooldown for his lockout, which he is, which is awesome. So we're going to go ahead and do the lockout. I think we got the lockout basically everywhere we needed it, which is pretty nice. Let's go ahead and try for a provoke here on the... Oh my god, those counterattacks are so annoying. Let's go ahead and hit here into the Carnage, get him under a petrification. Fuck you. And then if Rotos gets his turn, which he does, he gets an extra turn. We miss the petrification. He gets another extra turn. We're going to go ahead and do the A1 with Marius. Boom. We get a Enfeeble there on the Carnage, which is quite nice. Let's go ahead and try to take out the Noelle, as well as a turn meter boost there, which is perfect. It's our turn now, apparently. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to buff up with the Marius, and that is GG. That being said, it was an interesting fight, certainly. So decent picks on both sides, I think. Go ahead and take it out there. We beat this player who was 34 million player power from the Savage Pandas, Sephiroth. Let's go ahead and claim our Revival Blessing. Don't know if that's any good or not. And we'll go ahead and keep doing some additional battles here. So we're cruising through these refreshes, it looks like, or the tokens, I should say. I don't know why I keep saying refreshes, but we still got a couple more of them sitting here, so like 3 more. Definitely not doing all these battles live. I'll have to use, you know, some of my own time to do it, essentially. Don't mind me. It looks like I have some fucking loser inside the Twitch chat, just going ahead and being a loser. So let's go ahead and take care of that, shall we? Go ahead and ban him. There we go. Perfect. Somebody coming in and you know, advertising nefarious sites. So whatever. We're going to take Marius first. not what I wanted to do. I'm not gonna lie, the interface for Streamlabs OBS is just absolute dookie. Or OBS, I should say, when it comes to like showing the chat and whatnot. But at least it shows the chat, I guess. So that's kind of a win. DK User 0 is now who we are facing. Let's see what he has for a pick here. Once again, if you're watching on Twitch, make sure to go check out the YouTube channel as well. If you're watching on YouTube and if you've gotten this far into the video, well, you've been with me for 51 minutes so far, so it must be sort of entertaining. And if it is, make sure to go ahead and check out the Discord. Discord link down in the description below. I also have links to a bunch of other socials and whatnot down there. Inside the Discord, we have channels specific to Raid Shadow Legends. We're talking about like Siege and builds and all that stuff all the time. Super useful. If you play Watcher Realms, we have a channel for that as well. You know, the people in the Discord also like, you know, Daisy, Escape from Tarkov. We're a very diverse community. It's a nice place to be. Make sure to hop in. And we have RSL sell files in there too. So if you're trying to, you know, sell your gear and whatnot using the RSL helper, which I posted a few tutorials on, then that is also the place for you. So it'd be nice to have you. It's hard growing a Discord server these days, it seems. And we have a Rotos Harima. So we're obviously going to take UDK here. Because, you know, why would we not? So let me see if I can find my UDK. There he is. And then with UDK, so we do have 2 damage dealers already. I think it's going to be a good idea to bring in the Ancora just so that we can, you know, not really worry about anything else. We got Cardio. So we're going to take out the Armands. I mean, obviously, as Tyraku says in his videos, always ban Armands. That's his strategy, and I think that's a very solid strategy. Armands is a super annoying champion who just slowly kills you mentally and physically, right? He's an annoyance to say the least. We do have Stone Skin across this entire team as well, so their first turn damage is essentially just not going to exist, and it's very interesting that he might be doing it on auto so far. We don't get a cooldown increase on the Harima. That is wild. She has an obscene amount of resistance then. That being said, we're going to boost up here, and then we're going to go ahead and get our Embrys in with the A2 into the extra turn. Then we're going to go ahead and I think we're going to go ahead and do maybe his A3. Though I think we'll rather just metamorph, and then we'll go ahead and do the HP swap with the Harima. And then we'll go ahead and do the AoE. Boom. We proc the extra turn there on the Rotos, which is perfectly fine. We get smacked with a counterattack from the Harima, which is not perfectly fine. We're going to have to deal with the A3 from the Harima right away if we can't get any sort of, you know, CC on her, which we don't, it doesn't look like. So there we go. We're going to go ahead and hit in here with the A1 of the Ancora. This is actually pretty crazy. I don't know why she didn't A3 there. That's a bit odd. We're going to go ahead and get a shield as well as some heals. The Cardio comes in and cleanses, which is good for him. Steal some turn meter off their Arbiter there. UDK is still underneath Stone Skin. Not much they can do. We will go ahead and... his A1 doesn't really do anything special, just a block revive. So we'll go ahead and hit into the Harima. If I can get Harima down, or at least lower, and again, we're spiking up on the GPU here, it looks like, because, yeah, so OBS is just randomly spiking up how much GPU is being used, which is interesting. Go ahead and keep stealing turn meter from the Arbiter. Arbiter is going to be helping them cycle turns, so obviously we want to try and avoid that as much as possible. We have an AoE coming in from Arbiter, which is annoying. Let's go ahead and metamorph back to the Form 1 here. Then we're going to go ahead and do the AoE. Get the True Fear. Then we're also going to go ahead and do the A3. Try to manipulate some buffs, which didn't really happen, unfortunately. I expect Harima to come in with the A3. There it is. Now we get it. And we can go ahead and revive the... No, we can't. Never mind. What an annoying fucking team, honestly. That team, like that... Just so we're clear, that is not a good team composition. It's more so just my team picks were worse, if that makes sense. Like, that is annoying. It looked like the cardio was built out inside, like, some sort of a... like a protection set, maybe like Guardian or something like that as well, because I seen he kept proccing ally protection above him, so that's an interesting build, which is pretty cool. Probably also like a bulwark mastery or something like that too, which made them just super tanky. It is what it is, though. We're gonna go Armand's Marius because we want to give him something that he has to ban essentially with the Armands. And then obviously if he doesn't ban it, Armand's is built inside Supersonic anyways, so you know, contrary to what some YouTubers who don't know diddly squat may try to tell you, the Supersonic gear set is hands down the best gear set inside the entire game. Fun fact. When it comes to speed boosters and stuff like that, at least at a 4-piece set bonus, not even, you know, 6 or 9-piece, 4-piece set bonus, best set inside the game if you're trying to win a speed race, because it just says, hey, you could be faster than me, but I'm still going to cut in, so it's pretty cool. We have really 1 DPS, maybe 2 DPS units. We're going to bring a UDK, though. Ban the Fabian. UDK is probably going to get banned because he counters both the Odin, the He-Man, and the Sifi, so one champion countering 3 of yours is probably not a good matchup. But we'll see. They might ban the Armands as well. If they don't ban the Armands, though, if they ban the UDK, again, my Armands is built inside Supersonic. He's going to be able to cut in off the Sifi and the Duchess boost. And really the only way that that doesn't happen is if the Odin is fast enough to essentially go ahead right after the Sifi and then get the, you know, the cleanse or the AoE strip. But we'll see. We'll see. So I also have no stone skin on my Armands, which is new. I had to switch my good stone skin over to my Fabian, but we do go ahead and get all of the stuff boosted up here. Everybody's inside stone skin, so we're just going to try to strip it off, which we don't, unfortunately. He's going to go in with his A3, though. Yeah, it's whatever. We have Marichka coming in. She's going to go ahead and do the cleanse. We get the extra turn. Now we're going to go ahead and do the AoE True Fear. We get polymorphed by the Odin, which is a 6-star Odin, because of course it is. So, you know, he takes us out without too much of an issue. We have He-Man, who's going to be coming in right away, most likely. Though, nobody's underneath stone skin now, so I can probably steal his turn meter. There it is. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and hit into the Duchess there. This is very annoying, though, because he does take out our Marius. This is also a decent, you know, team composition that he's running against me. It's a bit annoying to go against. It's very survivable, obviously, especially if the passive's coming in, or like the passive from the Odin with the block damage every so often. Then you also have 2 super tanky revivers on the team, which is just, yeah, it's crazy. It's terrible. I don't have Duchess and I don't have Sifi, so I am definitely struggling a little bit compared to some other accounts, certainly, which is a shame, you know, but it is what it is, I suppose. We're going to go ahead and just A1 here with the Marichka. We can't really do anything else anyways. We're probably going to get taken out right away. We're waiting for that. And I just don't want the Duchess to take us out. Yeah, there we go. We're going to make his Odin sink his turn. There it is. We get the revive, but then He-Man's fast enough to go next, which is crazy. He's going to do I Have the Power, which is just going to end us. Come on. Do the AoE, big boy. Bro's just really happy about the fight, I guess. Or he was deciding what to do. Excuse me. I'm almost certain the He-Man had the I Have the Power off cooldown, though, so it's a bit interesting that he didn't do it, but it is what it is, I guess. We get the block damage. That's perfect. Not really, but whatever. We're going to go ahead and switch HP there with the He-Man. And then we're going to go ahead and just, you know, A1 because what the fuck, right? Like, we can't really do anything else. For some reason, I thought that the block damage procced before I switched, which meant, I don't know, I was hoping I could use his A3 on him, but whatever. It is what it is, and he's just refusing to end the fight, which is pretty toxic in all honesty. So that is just wild. There it is, finally. Good God, man. Processing results. What is this account? 15 million player power. Did I face this guy already? No, I did not. Alright, let's go ahead and keep fighting here. We're up over 700 points, so we've climbed by like 20 so far in this session, which is definitely not too bad. See what else we can do here, though. We do pick first, so we're going to go ahead and take Marius. Make sure that the other fella can't get him. This might be a bot. I can't remember how many I lost before this, but we'll see. We'll see. It is not a bot. This is crazy. Let's go ahead and do this. Against Embrys, there's not much you do except hope and pray. We could obviously take, you know, like Noel or something like that against him, just for the extra polymorph attempts. I think we may try to go for a speed race here, though. He doesn't have intimidating presence yet, and he doesn't have a very strong speed aura, so that may hold him back. We'll just have to see. He does have a better speed aura there, obviously. So I think we're going to take here Lamasu. And then we're going to take Nishak. So it's going to be tough for him to decide who to ban, I think. I think we're probably going to ban either Mezomel. Well, I don't know. I think we might ban... Oh, that's a tough one, honestly. It depends what he picks last. He does pick her. Okay, so we have a couple of options. If he bans our Nishak, we can't necessarily do anything to the Mezomel, which then could place block revive, because she's going to be in Stone Skin almost guaranteed. Fabian, though, if he gets a turn, we're basically cooked. They don't have a good intimidating presence, so they may also ban our Eostrid. I think we just ban Mezomel, though, honestly. That may be a mistake. We'll have to wait and see, I guess, but as long as we're relatively fast and able to cut in here, which we should be able to, especially with the intimidating presence at a 5-star on our team, I'll be very disappointed if we don't even get to cut in. And again, my Armand's is inside Supersonic as well. Oh. So now we can just hope for a resist from Lamasu, which we don't get. That is ridiculous. That is crazy. And he bans our Marius. That is absolutely wild. And then Nell just comes in and takes us out. That is crazy. On the plus side, though, we're going to face a bot next. So, you know, we're going to get a decent amount of points, which is nice, I guess. You know, yay. Probably also going to be my last fight, conveniently enough, because I have been going for like an hour here. So if you're not going to stick around to watch me beat up on this poor AI, thank you guys all so much for watching if you're in the live stream. And of course, thank you for whoever might be watching on YouTube as well. And I will mention this, channel memberships are live on YouTube. You can go ahead and hit that good old join button down below by the subscribe button. And it's like, you know, $3 a month or something like that you can pledge to support the channel, essentially, which would help out a ton. And, you know, I don't have any members yet, so if you join now, you can get the bragging rights of being the first ever channel member, which would be pretty cool in my opinion. But I am a little biased, so, you know, who knows. We have a Gizmac. I'm just going to take Taurus Marichka here. I think I definitely would have done better in today's, you know, live arena session as well if, you know, if I had better picks, essentially, because I was very much just focused on getting that, getting the Embrys into the fights, and I need to kind of critique my fight a little bit, or like my build, rather. I can't think, apparently, but... We have a Newt Wixwell. Definitely a real player, by the way. We're going to ban Freya. She's really the only scary part of this team. She's also like the highest awakening, so yeah. It is what it is. We got to get her out of here. They ban our Mons. Shocker, shocker. And we go first, which is nice. So we're going to go ahead with the Fabian. Go for the AoE here. Wixwell comes in, counterattacks, doesn't really matter. We're going to get the... okay, so we're going to go ahead and metamorph here with the Embrys. Do an HP swap with like his, you know, his Mikage or whatever. Do an AoE there. Again, you know, the AoE damage is certainly nothing to write home about, but... you know, if there's Necrosis out there, he's going to block Revive, so that's pretty cool. And he's going to be infinitely stronger, too, once I get him built with, like, a blessing on him. So we'll go ahead and just smack here. That should be it. There we go. Perfect. That is going to end the video and the live stream. Once again, thank you guys all so much for the support. If you're on YouTube, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.